So I wanted to end off with some additional options that you just might want to think about. So first off, I was thinking with my classes, I'm definitely just going to make the free version available. But let's say a student or a parent wanted to go the actual purchasing route of Rocketbook. Now, I'm not endorsing Rocketbook, although I do like, I'm not getting paid for this as a testimonial, but I do like their product. And so I thought you should know a little bit about what makes their product special, because why buy it when you could just download pages for free? So the deal with Rocketbook is essentially you're going paperless. If you physically had this in front of you, what you would notice that these pages are not normal pages. They're actually sheets of a type of polyester, and they are specifically made and designed to go with these specific pens. These are pens by Pilot. They're called friction pens. Let me write that down. It's Frixion. And the idea is this, is that normally when you use these pens, if I use this pen on a standard piece of paper, that these are heat sensitive. On the end of the pen, it looks like an eraser, but it's really not. It's just a little piece of rubber to cause friction when you rub. But as you rub, you generate heat, and so friction is just their line of erasable pens. And it's not 100%, but it works pretty darn good, I think. All right, and so it comes in felt tip pens, ballpoint pens, anything you want, and they all work the same. Here's the ballpoint. Again, there's a little rubber tip on the end that you can just rub enough to generate heat, and that heat makes the ink invisible. Now, the reason why you have to use these, though, is not because of that, because of the eraser, but it's because of the ink. This friction ink with these polyester pages from Rocketbook are made so that they, once it dries, they adhere pretty well. But if you take a little, just a damp cloth, they just wipe completely clean. And so you can reuse the pages. And it doesn't matter, ballpoint, felt tip, although the felt tip does have a tendency more to smear. But, I can write things here. I can take my snapshots with the app. And then later, when I feel like I don't need this anymore and I've got my copy in my Google folder or in my email, I just take that wet. So if I rub it with my finger, it's fine. But if I use a wet cloth, it just erases. Now, the one thing you never want to do, though, is never write on an actual page and then use the eraser. Using the eraser is only meant for regular paper. Don't use it on these polyester pages because you'll ruin your notebook. On the notebook, you specifically want to just stick to a damp cloth and then let it dry. And this is, by the way, their Everlast version. It's not on this one, but if you go to their website, it says Rocketbook Everlast. There's a different version called the Wave. That one is kind of the same thing, but instead of the pages being erasable like this, Wave is for microwave. The idea is you can just use up the entire notebook, toss the notebook in the microwave, and then if you run the microwave, the entire notebook will be erased. I prefer this. I prefer to erase page by page. All right, so if people opt to purchase a Rocketbook notebook, then that's what they're getting. They're basically getting to go paperless, where these pages are reusable, and you can just still scan it in the same way. It's a little hard to see, but it's got those same scan codes at the bottom here. They're just really faint, but you just put a little X, just like the regular free pages. All right. And then finally, a second thing is Rocketbook also has these things called beacon. If you get really into this like I have, they have these things called beacons. This is my own homemade version, but they have ones for purchase, very inexpensive, and they're made to stick to things like whiteboards. So I have a set of 4 of these, which are stuck to the 4 corners of my whiteboard. And those 4 corners essentially outline my workspace. And so if I go to my app and I go to the camera, down here you'll notice we were using Rocketbook earlier. If you slide across, there's this thing called beacons, and it says position whiteboard within screen. Now, I don't have a whiteboard here in my garage, but what I do have is this board that I put together, and I put just bright orange duct tape in the 4 corners. And so if I hold my camera up, this does the same thing. I can't do this on screen, but I'm just going to kind of do it this way so you guys can sort of see. If I go back far enough, it recognizes those four corners. And it's not working right now because I just don't have enough space to work here. But what it does is it recognizes those four corners, and then it scans in whatever's within those four corners. So this is meant to be like in a office meeting where you want to take all the office meeting notes down. Well, people just have these in the corners of their whiteboard, and these act as the markers for what should be scanned. And now a final option here too is that this also can be turned into Snapcast mode. And so what I did was I clicked up here and I changed it, this little beacon icon right here. I clicked on it and things changed, and it said position whiteboard within screen. But the idea is, what I would do is I would leave this in position. I would just leave this scanning my area and just have it stationary, maybe on a tripod, or just, use my phone and just prop it up like this. And so every so often it does the same thing. It recognizes these triangles and it takes a snapshot of what's in there. But it does it periodically. I forget exactly how long it goes, but like every 30 seconds, maybe less than that. It just takes a screenshot and then takes another screenshot and takes another screenshot. And what it does is it sends those screenshots to this web address. So you're just getting updated versions of what's on the board. It's called Snapcast. All right, and you get a specific URL so that anybody can go to this website and see what's being broadcast. So it's not live video; it's more like slideshow video. Every so often, the next slide appears, the next slide appears, and the slide is just an updated version of what's ever on the whiteboard. So again, some potential there as well. You're welcome to explore it. All right, so I hope that gives you a bit about what Rocketbook is and why I'm going to use it. Again, my main two reasons is, one, I want to be able to see the kids' work clearly, and to me this was a handy way of doing it. And two, that it's free. Beg, borrow, steal, teachers make do with what we can, and so the fact that I can get the app for free, my kids can get the app for free, they can download the pages. I was even thinking of maybe printing them out at school and just leaving packets so that if a parent wanted to stop by the school and pick up a packet of Rocketbook pages, they could. And the fact that the Rocketbook pages are customizable for my needs, I really like that feature. So I hope this was useful. If you have further questions, I'm always there to help if you guys want to learn a little more. And just so you know, on this slideshow, there's one more slide with a video. But that's going to be my video for the students, so that it'll be a step-by-step procedure of how they set up their app and how they all do this stuff on their tablet, on their phone, and things like that.